I'm a mum. I have a 3.5-year-old toddler, and I have another little baby on the way. So I'm going to be a mum of two little girls soon. I have been running businesses for the past 15 years in the IT space. And previous to that, I was in the health and sport and recreation area, like Tash was saying. Still very, very passionate about health and fitness and sport in general, and it's a big part of my life still. And then as I've grown as a person and a professional, I've kind of come into I guess, to finding my true purpose. And part of my true purpose is really helping other people in business to be able to create successful businesses, but also use that as a platform to then create freedom and the life that they want. Because often people who run their own businesses can feel trapped, and it's very, very hard to be a business owner. So I'm kind of coupling my passion around people and them being the best version of themselves with my skills and background in business as well. So that's kind of me in a snapshot.
Yeah, thank you, Tan. That's a great overall snapshot, and certainly speaks to me in terms of the idea of business being a bit lonely, and it can feel a bit like you're all in it on your own. And I'm really fortunate that Matt, my hubby, also has owned and operated businesses for most of his career. And so he understands the struggle. But for me, coming from working in a government role where I had a team and managers and structure and processes, it can be really overwhelming. And it is definitely, at times, it feels like it can overwhelm, as far as there's always something that can be done. There's always more work to be done. But trying to find that balance, and certainly finding that community. And I think that's the beautiful thing that business coaches can do, is bring other business owners together. And so, yeah, really appreciate that role that you're passionately playing, and the end goal being freedom and creating a life we want, which who doesn't want that?
Yes, that's what our businesses are here to. We obviously play a role with what we do in our businesses, but at the end of the day, our businesses are here to serve us, not the other way around. And so it's really important to think about what the end goal is here, and then kind of create a plan that supports that, which I'll probably, no doubt, talk a little bit more about.
Awesome. All right. Well, you have led a little bit into, I guess, what led you to this point to become a business coach, but I do just want you to expand on that a little bit more, and just tell us how you went on the journey, and what drove you to go down the path, because there's obviously lots of different types of coaches, and I know you do some life coaching as well, so you do sort of encapsulate a bit of that work as well. But just what drove you down the path of becoming a business coach?
Yeah, sure. So I guess as we've mentioned already, so I was the owner of an IT company with my business partner, who was at the time became my husband. And we ran the IT company here in Perth for, I think it was about 10 years before we decided to expand over to the States. And then we embarked on a crazy journey, but very, very rewarding personally and professionally, to expand our business over to New York City, which we did. And I guess the skills that I've learned across that time, there's a lot there, and I enjoyed the whole experience because it enabled me to grow so much as a person. Like you said, Tash, you just wear so many hats, and it is a lonely journey, and it can be. And I decided to use a business coach early on, because similar to you, I came from state government. And I remember kind of going out into the wings of starting up my own business. And it was just like, what do you mean there's no one to help? And all of these different areas of marketing, and like someone to check over your work and all of that stuff. The support systems aren't there. And you're kind of on this massive learning journey of so many different areas of business, sales, admin, marketing. There's so much to learn. So I did decide to use a business coach early on, and kind of had mentors and support systems around me. But certainly there were elements of being lonely, and many, many times. And it's a struggle. And you get through it, and you grow, and you grow as a person. And I love the process of growing and learning and finding out more. So I'll use marketing as an example. Like, there's so many people out there that's what they do, digital marketing. There's so many different areas, and you don't need to become an expert at every single aspect of marketing, but you certainly need to know how to create a marketing plan and how to talk to a digital marketing specialist and understand what SEO is and PPC and all of that stuff. And it's the same with other areas of business. Recruitment, you need to understand the recruitment process. And so I was just loved the process of learning, and I became a sponge, and I read books, used business coaches, watched YouTube, did courses, and I just over time realized that was my passion. It is about learning and business. And then after exiting from my role in the IT company, I decided, and I had a good think to myself and realized that my true passion was business and also helping others. So I coupled the two together. And
I love that.
Today. Yeah.
And I love that, that idea of like continuing to grow, because don't they say when you stop growing, you start dying? So,
yeah.
It really is. And growing can take many shapes, but I think owning a business or running your own business is a really great way to grow. And in every element of the word growth, because you're learning new things. Like I've learned so much in my, relatively short term time running a business, in terms of programs and software and all these different things that I didn't have the skills in, but also emotionally and spiritually and personally, I have grown. I've had to overcome failure. I've had to pick myself up again. You learn how to like take no's and then come back for more. You learn how to speak your truth. Like there's just so much that, it's not the only way, but business is a great way to learn and grow. So I love that you're bringing that passion about growth and helping others grow and come into their own with business. So that's really cool.
Thank you.
So the other thing, and again, I feel like we've touched on this, but your vision. So if you could give us, in a nutshell, what is your vision when you work with people as a business coach? What's sort of your end result? What's the end game that you hope to achieve?
Yeah. So I just love coupling the aspect of having a business and then people kind of realizing or actualizing what their true dreams are. And I feel like businesses are here to support us and our lives. So a lot of business owners, they kind of get stuck and they just, they go in the day to day, and it's like, in the grind of running a business, because it is all encompassing. But at the end of the day, we, having a vision and having a dream for our lives, it should be the ultimate goal. So I couple my life coaching and my holistic approach to business coaching, because it starts with the person first, and how can your business best support your life and your family or your friends and what your dreams are. And we start with that first, and that's what my vision is in using the business as an enabler for people to live out their dreams. And how long's a piece of a string in it? And this goes into what you do, Tash. Open up your mind and kind of work out what really, like, go to that other side and figure out what, you can create anything you like, and using a business as a tool to do that is what I'm really passionate about.
Oh, and I love that, because it's so often we hear no, or you can't do that, or you're not qualified, and sometimes that's just the voices in our own head, but we also do get narratives from people around us. So I think if we can find someone like you who's in our corner that can tell us, no, think big. What do you want to do? Yeah. What is it that you want to create? And that I'm really passionate about this, and just not letting yourself be limited by what your rational brain thinks, and that all that stuff can come later, but like firstly, like, let's get the vision out, and flipping the idea of serving yourself and creating it from the foundation of, this is to serve me, my family, my partner, my pet, whatever your family looks like, and then go on to serve the people with that intention behind you. That's like super powerful. So thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so this bit brings us now to the top tips. So I always like to pick our, our wonderful women's brains and give our audience a couple of takeaways. So if you could offer 3 top tips to those who might be considering starting their own business, or perhaps they're just in business, maybe in the early stages, or perhaps just in business, but sort of still fumbling a bit, still looking to find their path. What are the 3 top tips that you could offer to them?
Yeah, sure. Look, the first one might be the most obvious, but having some sort of a plan. Business plan is ideally what you need to have with goals. A lot of people say these days, with the world moving so fast, we don't need a 5-year or a 3-year plan, just create a 12-month plan. I'm kind of on the boat for both. I think that any type of plan is going to have value, and having goals and then creating specific measurables and strategies from there is just going to take out the guesswork, right? And we all get a little bit scared when it's the start and we don't like, oh, it's a business plan and it's scary. But even if it's the start, just make it as simple as possible. As simple as possible is the best approach, and just figuring out then what does your 12-month goals look like in a 3-month time span, and then break it down to a weekly task schedule so it's achievable would be my number one, because then it kind of takes out all that guesswork. The second one is around having a support network and learning. So like I said before, for me, I did use a business coach early on, and I found that fast tracked my knowledge and my learning. But then I also found mentors that I knew in business that I met over time at networking groups and so on, that I would catch up regularly, and it would be a great support system. And having people around that you can lean on. Sometimes we want to have a cry, or many times been there. And just having those people in your life that kind of get it. And so learning and growing in a support network would be my second. And the last one is, this is especially important in the first 5 years, is having a balance. And really being focused on how you're going to create that balance in your life, and finding ways to get your own personal energy. So that can take many different forms for different people, whether it's exercising, going for a walk, having time with your family and friends, whatever that is, making sure that you are focused around how you're going to do that. Because if you aren't, business will take over your life if you allow it, and you'll just have that business hat on 90% of the time, and all the other hats will fall down. And we often learn by failing, and I'm sure we've all been there. But if you can be proactive around preserving really important aspects of your life proactively, then do it and save yourself the hardship of having to learn the hard way. So
yes. And I don't know if we were live yet when we said this, but we were talking a bit at the very beginning about how it can be so easy for business to be all consuming, and especially in those early days. I think when you're still establishing structure and you don't have a lot of automation, and you're building stuff from the ground up, websites, CRMs, email lists, social following, whatever it is that you're trying to work on, it can feel like, and I definitely understand that, but absolutely having that balance. So I'm just going to repeat back those 3 tips, and I'll actually share them as a little just a overview at the end as well, so that people can catch that. So basically the first tip you offered was that you need to have a plan, so a business plan or just an overall plan, but mainly that it needs to have your goals, and they need to be then attached to measurable strategies. And the process from there is that you chunk it down so it's not so overwhelming, and I definitely agree with that. So start with perhaps a quarterly overview, and then really try and drill that down to what it looks like on a week-by-week basis, and really get to that granular level so that you're not then feeling completely overwhelmed. So that's really good sage advice, and one I definitely stand by. And the second was the support network. So either in the formalized approach, so through a coach or business mentor, or even like a support group, a business group. But then you can also do it more informally or in collaboration through like your mentors, and even down to your peers, your support group, even groups like this where you can share with each other about what's going on. So That's awesome. And then I did touch on balance, but yeah, I feel like that's a really important one. So just creating that balance and doing it early on, like don't wait until I'll wait for a year or then I'll get balance. It's like, no, don't do that. Do it straight away.
You fall harder, much harder.
So I'll actually share those because they're really handy, and I think they'll be great little takeaways that people can latch onto. So then this one is actually our last formal question. So just in terms of what you offer, and this can be broadly within your business coaching or just some life advice. I like to keep it nice and open, but something that you can offer to the modern woman that they can benefit from today. What's something that you can share?
Look, it's all about looking after you. And like I've said, my whole approach is about being holistic. So making sure that looking after you first, and you're coming from that mentality if you're going into business or if you're in business, having your core values close to you first, and then kind of expanding out there, but really making sure that whatever you do is in alignment with who you are and not kind of stray too far from that, because you go off down crazy rabbit holes but end up coming back in the end. So just keep this first, and everything else will fall into alignment if you have that approach.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, absolutely with you on that. Leading with listening to your heart and following that. And it will never lead you astray if you're really listening to it, and absolutely advocate for that. So thank you, Tan. I really appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with us. I feel like I actually don't know exactly, but it's only 25 past 12. So I feel like we've done pretty well. I just want to give you the opportunity, and I'll make sure I share this as well, because it's sometimes a bit much for people to just hear it. But if people are keen to learn more about you, or they'd like to follow along on your journey, or connect with you, what's the best way? Or if you've got a couple of options, and I'll get you to text it, although I think I've got most of them already, that I can share in the group.
Yeah, sure. So LinkedIn is probably the best way. So searching for Tanya Mills on LinkedIn would be the easiest way. Otherwise, my email, which I can share. I don't have a website yet because the business coaching journey is still fairly new for me, and I've been investing all of my time in networking and having beautiful conversations and actually servicing my clients. So that is still to come. But yeah, LinkedIn would probably be the best way.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'll get you to just share the specific links to your, and you can share your email address if you're happy for people to get in touch with you directly. But that brings our conversation to a close. Was there any final thoughts or anything else you wanted to share before we wrap up?
Look, anyone who's just on the business journey, especially if you're a woman, you're not alone, and just stick it out through those hard times, I think would probably be my best advice, because it is tough. And I think that's the biggest thing. But the most rewarding part is you just grow, personal growth, professional growth, if you stick it out, and just don't be afraid to ask for help from people around you, because everyone gets it, and we've got beautiful networks. If we just look for them, they're out there. So many supportive women out there. So
yeah.
And Tash, you're one of those, and I'm here for anyone who needs advice. I'm more than happy to give any advice at all.
Great. Thank you, Tan. And I think that wraps it up nicely. I did a 3-day online boot camp with this lady over the weekend, and it was around like building your list, but also like collaboration and podcasting and opportunities to kind of leverage. And one of the things she got us to do, which I love, was that she got us all to write on a post-it, "I've already won." And the idea behind that is that it reminds you that if you're having a go, if you're giving it a crack, if you're putting yourself out there, you've already won, because you're already doing something that is enabling you to grow and be a better person. And whatever comes from that, she's like, remember, like, you're taking action, so you've already won. So I love that. And I feel like that really lines up with what you're saying about seek the support, but get out there and go for it.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you, Tan. That was a lovely chat. And I feel like we got a lot of gold in that very short amount of time. So I'll share the your LinkedIn details and your email in the group once we've finished up, and then I'll do a bit of promotion through my socials as well to try and encourage some more women to come in. Before we go as well, next month, so it'll be, I don't know what the date is, but roughly the third Thursday of the month I try and do these. We are having a beautiful lady, Tanya Mills, who does Soma energized meditations, and I do them with her and they're amazing. So I'm going to get her to come and talk about her journey to receiving her accreditation, which only, I think recently she got her accreditation, but she's been running the classes for a while. She does them online and in person. So I do them online because she's in Perth, might be like Gidgegannup, I might be wrong, but somewhere in Perth, and I'm in Yallingup. So I love that I can jump on online and do them. And they're just a great way to move energy, get you breathing, get you into your body. So she's going to share with us next month. So hopefully ladies can tune into that one. And yeah, we'll head off now and let everyone get on with their day. And thank you, Tan.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for having me. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.